So in a story that surprises absolutely no one, Karl Rove is saying that Trump's tariffs may affect the Republicans' ability to hold a majority through the midterms. Wow, hot take, Karl Rove. You guys all remember Karl Rove, right? The the George Bush era fucking political advisor, the Dick Cheney's best friend, whose relevance is like none anymore. But anyway, so yeah, Karl Rove, who's become a political commentator, warns the Republicans that they might not be able to hold on to the majority through the midterms if these tariffs keep coming. So distribution, there's only three stories: one left, one right, one center. So 67% high factuality, 33% mixed. So I assume that the mixed factuality is the right. Yeah, Newsmax, which Newsmax is a very questionable publication to begin with. So, but I have a article pulled up by HuffPost. So we will go ahead and read through that. See what Mr. Rove has to say, the warning he has for the Republicans. So Karl Rove says this muddled mess Trump policy will cost GOP next year's midterms. Longtime GOP strategist and commenter Karl Rove predicts Donald Trump's tariffs policies will cost Republicans next year's midterms, calling the administration's messaging a muddled mess. The story isn't good for the GOP, Rove said in a column published by the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday. Maybe I should have pulled that article up. Rove warned fellow Republicans that Trump's tariffs demands are weighing him down as his general job approval sinks and voters disapprove of his handling of the economy, citing data from Real Clear Politics. And that's a warning that Trump should definitely take into account because the economy is what won him the election. Trump and Rove have clashed in recent weeks as the Bush administration's senior advisor became critical of the president's strategy. Last month, Rove said Trump's approval ratings are in bad shape when it comes to the economy. He also appeared on Fox and said, advising the president to cooperate with the courts in the Kilmar Abrego Garcia deportation case, the gentleman from Maine that we've spoken about. Trump responded on Truth Social by calling Rove a total loser who's been wrong about almost everything. Was Trump looking in a mirror? I don't know. Now Rove is warning the Republicans that the president's phonetic back and forth on the subject, declaring a trade war one day, then postponing new tariffs the next, leaves voters confused. Not just voters, but people who have to purchase things. I know someone who is a purchaser for a company, and like this has been a nightmare for them. Like this has been a nightmare for anybody who has to buy things overseas or has to deal with this. Like it's not having the intended effect. I don't know what the point of this is, but I can't see that it's actually accomplishing its goals. A more recent example of Trump's on-again, off-again tariff policy happened last week when he threatened to impose 50% tariffs on imports from the European Union. That threat was backtracked on Sunday when EU heads asked to extend his deadline for trade talks until July 9th. Maybe these apparent flip-flops were all planned by the master of the art of the deal, but to many it looks like cleanup on aisle 6, Rove said. Rove's sentiment was felt in Wall Street as investors came up with a new term to describe Trump's on-again, off-again tariffs called TACO, which is code for Trump always chickens out. I like that. Let's go eat some tacos. The administration's messaging is a muddled mess, Rove said, telling Republicans Trump should look towards reciprocity as policy he describes as, if countries lower their tariffs, we lower ours. Rove ended the column by saying voters won't blame foreign countries for higher prices or fewer goods. They'll blame Donald Trump and his Republican Party. I don't like to be agreeing with Karl Rove on anything. But yeah, that's a pretty logical conclusion to come to. So we'll see, if the American voter feels that way, because Karl Rove kind of represents the old guard in the Republican voters and what political commentary used to be and stuff like that. I would say that things are vastly different now. And so it may be that because Karl Rove would have been right 15 years ago doesn't mean that he's right now. But yeah. So anyway. Hey, Cousin Matt here. Thanks for checking out that clip from Nightly News This Morning, a show I do live on this channel on Tuesdays and Fridays at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you like the content, please drop the video a like. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And I really do appreciate your comments. I'm really looking forward to having a discussion. I'd love to know what you think about it, and we will see you in the next one.